it so happens that there is a knowledge in India which comes from a very subjective knowledge, which means it's a knowledge based on cognition, not on scientific research or experimentation. And that's what's called Veda. The term Veda means knowledge. It's a name, just knowledge. Like you say knowledge in English, in Sanskrit, you call it Veda. It's a science. It's knowledge. It just means knowledge. Knowledge of natural law, knowledge of the laws of life, of nature, of how nature is built. But if you take the books of Veda and start reading them, you can't understand anything when you're translating. And if you read the actual textbooks of the Veda, it doesn't make sense if you translate them. And they look really kind of unusually unexplainable. And for years and years, thousands of years, people were actually trying to explain why it's so important that so many generations of pandits, we call them pandits, which are the Vedic people who have been reciting this Vedic sound, they keep teaching them to their children and then their children to their children. And it comes to us as a knowledge which in today's life is incomprehensible on the level of its translation. There are many theories, many explanations, but it's always kind of splitting hair and going around the topic to try to understand what it is. And it's really, I think, for the first time in known history that somebody, who is Maharshi in fact, came and said, Veda we shouldn't look at in terms of the meaning. It's not some text that you have to translate and you have to start reading it and to learn about it and learn its philosophy and all of that. Veda is simply sound and silence. Sound and silence. What does it mean, sound and silence? If you take the book in Sanskrit and you read it, you can say Agni Mile Purohitam Yagyasya Devam Ritvijam, like that, Sanskrit words. These are sounds. These sounds, for somebody who doesn't know Sanskrit, which is most of us, we know a little bit, are sounds that have no meaning. And so what is their importance? Maharishi said their importance comes from their structure, how they are built, and how a sound disappears and another sound appears, and how, in what rhythm they appear, in what rhythm they disappear, in what sequence, how many of them, how they are composed in paragraphs, in books. This gives them a structure. When you take a book, you say the book has 400 pages. That's the structure of the book. Then you say that I have 20 chapters. Fine, this is the substructure of the book. Each chapter has so many paragraphs. This is the substructure. Like that, you go to the line, to the word, to the sound, to every little syllable, and you talk about the structure completely irrespective of its meaning. And Maharishi said, these are the sounds of natural law. The sounds of the laws of nature. Of course, you wonder, what does it mean? What is this natural law? Natural law is any law of nature, like gravity, weak force, strong force, electromagnetism. But if you join them and they get kind of different laws of motion, laws of thermodynamics, and they get complex, even though they are all based on one unified field. Ultimately, when they express themselves, they become all the structures of the universe. We cannot have a universe without law. If you remove law, there is no universe. You have a mess. So there must be some kind of order, some kind of something that structures the universe, that structures our body, that structures our chemistry, our biology. So all of these different levels of expressions of laws of nature, which come from one unified law, which is unified field, into the four forces and then all the particles and the quarks and the whole thing and how they interact together, they create the universe. You get more and more complex interactions and interrelations, which we call chemical laws, biological laws, psychological laws, sociological laws, because ultimately everything follows some kind of a law, some kind of a structure like that. So these laws that actually create the universe and manage the universe are having a structure. Let's take this as an axiom at the beginning. It can be demonstrated later. But let's accept that logic. There is a structure to law. What is the structure of law? It's the universe, actually. It expresses itself through the universe. Veda, as knowledge, does not pretend to teach you the structure of law by explaining it to you. It gives you the structure of law by drawing it to you, by showing it to you.